Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. If you're a 10th grader trying to survive high school English, or honestly, just someone who loves a truly beautiful piece of writing, you are absolutely in the right place. Today, we're taking a literary journey through an amazing poem called Climbing by American poet Amy Lowell. We're going to break down exactly how a simple childhood activity gets totally transformed into something super profound. So lace up your metaphorical hiking boots because we've got a tree to climb.
Now, before we even look at a single line of poetry, I want you to think about your own life for a second. Have you ever wanted a dream so badly you could practically see it shining in the distance? Maybe it's, getting into that specific dream college, landing a spot on the varsity team, totally nailing a difficult piece of music, or even just figuring out what you want your future career to be. You know it's going to take a ton of effort, but you can already picture how amazing it'll feel when you finally make it happen. Hold on to that exact feeling, that intense, focused ambition. That is the beating heart of the poem we're exploring today.
Imagine a boy climbing high into the branches of a giant apple tree. Down below, there are rolling green hills and the absolute safety of the solid ground. But look up. Tucked right into those fluffy, dreamlike clouds are spires, domes, and glittering pinnacles. It's an incredibly imaginative journey. Lowell uses this totally relatable, physical act of climbing an apple tree to talk about something so much bigger than just a tree.
Part 1. The Tree and the Dream. Let's start our ascent. Lowell doesn't mess around here. She establishes the setting and the goal right out of the gate. The poem kicks off with the speaker already high up in the branches, and these specific lines literally change the whole vibe. Each branch is the step of a wonderful stair, which leads to the town I see shining up there. Notice how Lowell takes a completely ordinary, everyday thing, just a regular branch on an apple tree, and totally transforms it. It's not just wood and leaves anymore, it's a step of a wonderful stair. It has a huge purpose. It's a direct pathway leading to a specific, glowing destination, that shining town.
So the absolutely crucial thing to grasp here is the literary device powering this whole poem. We're looking at a masterful use of an extended metaphor. If a regular run-of-the-mill metaphor says A is B, an extended metaphor says A is B, and then it just keeps going, exploring that comparison across multiple lines or even the entire text. In this case, the physical act of climbing the apple tree is an extended metaphor for the effort, the struggle, and the joy of striving toward a distant, shining dream. Every single branch you grab, every leaf you push out of the way, represents the real-life steps we have to take toward our highest ambition.
Moving on to part 2, visualizing the journey. As we climb higher up into the branches, this destination starts to come into much sharper focus.
The vague idea of a shining town begins to take real shape through Lowell's super vivid descriptions. As the speaker gets higher, the wind blows the branches apart to reveal this: the gleam of a turret, the glint of a dome, all sparkling and bright like white sea foam. Just listen to the quality of the light in those lines. The town isn't just sitting there being boring, it is actively shining. It's catching the light and practically calling out to the climber to keep going. Check out how Lowell uses very specific nouns to build this fantasy. We get a spire, a turret, and a dome. These are grand, majestic architectural words, right? They don't belong to a normal everyday town. They belong to a castle or a palace, a place of immense wonder. And then she caps it all off with a simile, comparing this bright city to white sea foam. Seafoam is so effervescent, it catches the sunlight and glitters brightly right before disappearing. It gives the dream this magical, almost untouchable quality. It's breathtaking, sure, but it also feels a little fragile, kind of like a dream often does.
All right, part 3, building rising momentum. We've seen the dream. Now, the physical reality of the climb really sets in. The heartbeat of the poem really starts to accelerate here. Lowell writes, on and on from bough to bough, the leaves are thick, but I push my way through. The ease of those lower branches, totally gone. The obstacles are literal thick leaves blocking the path, but metaphorically, we're talking about the challenges, the self-doubt and the sheer hard work required to achieve any real goal. Notice the intense determination. I push my way through. The speaker actually points out that in the past, they always had to stop, but today is totally different. Today, they are 100% certain they are going to reach the top.
Let's pop the hood and look at the engine driving all this momentum. Lowell combines two incredibly powerful tools here: repetition and rhyme. We get repetitive action phrases like climbing, climbing, higher and higher. Repeating those words creates this rhythmic, almost breathless feeling, which perfectly mirrors the physical exertion of pulling yourself up a tree. Then check out the rhyming endwords. Higher paired with spire, dome paired with foam, stair paired with air. This rhyme scheme gives the poem this bouncy, propulsive forward motion. The actual structure of the poem is actively helping the climber get to the top. It's brilliant.
Which brings us to part 4, stopping mid-climb. The momentum is at its absolute peak right now.
The glittering pinnacles are flashing right in front of us. We are literally one branch away from the top. And then, the poem just stops. Honestly, this is one of the most fascinating choices a poet can make. Why does she leave us hanging? The speaker confidently declared they were going to reach the very end of the marvelous stair today. So why does the text just cut to black, so to speak, before we actually see them step foot into that shining town?
To answer that, we really have to look closely at these final lines. Climbing, climbing, higher I go, with the sky close above me, the earth below. Now, that should definitely sound familiar because it is nearly identical to the opening of the poem. But wait, there is one vital, beautiful difference here. In the beginning, the sky was just above me. Now the sky is close above me. The earth is way far below. The speaker hasn't actually arrived, but they've grown. They've fundamentally elevated themselves.
Let's picture our climber back in that tree to really drive this point home. By ending the poem mid-climb, Amy Lowell is teaching us something really profound about human ambition. The true significance, it isn't actually in reaching that castle in the clouds. Because, think about it, once you reach one goal, you usually just find another, even higher branch to aim for, right? The real beauty, the momentum, and the deepest meaning are all found in the perpetual, ongoing action of striving. It's all about the continuous journey. It's about being the kind of person who just keeps climbing, climbing, even when the leaves get thick.
Which brings us right back to where we started today. Lowell's poem is basically a mirror held up to our own lives and our own ambitions. The apple tree is out there waiting for you, and the steps are entirely yours to take. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final, incredibly important question to chew on. As you look up through the branches of your own life, what is your own shining town? Thanks so much for hanging out with me on this climb today. Keep reaching and keep pushing through those leaves.